But we're actually being joined by I think we're being joined by every single caster, which means... Is anyone casting MaxPax versus Gumiho? I don't think so, which would be crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have Zombie Grub, Steadfast, and Artos. Even though they were covering Gumiho earlier, I don't think they're sticking around for a series against MaxPax, which is a little bit heartbreaking, not gonna lie. Wow, okay. Anyway, we're going to be jumping into this and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo Humanity. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion going for the ByuN opener, going for the 2 racks. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Dragon Kaizi Gaming. It is Dark. And if anyone knows Hangul, knows Korean, then let me know. This is a big conversation going on right now. But yeah, ByuN is going for his 2 racks. Again, I've been saying this every single time, but if you have been watching ByuN over the past couple of months, ByuN does this every single ZvT, doesn't matter who he's playing against. Every single ZvT he's been opening up with a 2 racks just like this. There have been some Terran players that have been emulating him a little bit. Special has done this every now and then. Maru does this every now and then, but no one does it every game like ByuN. Like all the other Terrans, they kind of sprinkle it in whenever they can. Oh, okay. There you go. Apparently they're just talking about flights to Young shipping. There you go. Shout out to Maddox. Gracias, papi, gracias. Maddox, for those who don't know, he is the Korean caster for today. Does cast over on his own channel in Korean. Much love, much love. He's also been the translator for some events, I believe for Home Story Cup last year, the most recent Home Story Cup. Meanwhile, yeah, I think Steadfast has realized as well that's, for whatever reason, every single caster came down to cast this series, and no one is covering Gumiho versus MaxPax. So it looks like Steadfast is taking it upon himself to jump on over and cover that series. Shout out to Steadfast. I would be terrified just because I don't know if their lobby is even available. So, okay. Oh, he's asking how long you gonna do this build until I win. Let's go, let's go. It is gonna be the 2 racks into the 4 racks, by the way. Dark, also just a little bit of meta talk going on. He's like, mate, you're doing this every game. Stop it. But it was a Hatchcats pull here from Dark, so nothing too fancy when it comes to his opener. It is going to be the 4 racks follow-up, and this can be terrifying. This is going to hit very hard with Stim. And Dark needs to recognize what's going on so we can prepare accordingly. If he doesn't, then Dark can just fall over and die. As I guess, just for the people that are maybe tuning in and weren't here earlier, Dark does have different variations of the 2 racks. He can go 2 racks into a 3rd racks into a like Reaper all-in or like Mass Reaper. We can see the 4 racks follow-up, which is what we're seeing, which does hit with Stim. No Medivacs, it's just Mass Marine and the initial Reapers. They rush across the map, and if there isn't enough Ling Bane, then Dark can just, then ByuN can just win the game then and there. It is an all-in, like, typically we have a 3rd base behind this, but it's very committed. Meanwhile, we also have the 2-1-1 follow-up, which is a little bit more economic, a little bit more versatile as well. Dark will be responding with a Roach Warren. Interesting. Interesting. Stark is getting his 3rd base up and running. The 3rd base is going to be delayed, and as we're working with very limited larva as a result of the delayed 3rd, we're going into those roaches. Meanwhile, the Lings, they do confirm the Marine push coming across the map. Dark is in the midst of droning, and hopefully we stop drones here as we do get towards the 53 worker amount, 53 worker count. We do need nothing but army, roaches, Lings, queens, everything you can imagine. As ByuN is just waiting a little bit longer for combat shields to kick in. Lings do attempt to go for a counterattack, but no, Marines are waiting back at home. Now, with these roaches coming out, Dark should have enough to defend. He should have enough. And this is a really interesting reaction. For those that remember, Ragnarok, he cleaned this up with Ling Bane. We can see Dark reacting with roaches instead, and the roaches do force ByuN back. And ByuN has to transition. There we go. He throws down the factory, he throws down the starport. We should be seeing a third CC as well, momentarily. ByuN does have the resources for it. There it is. Third CC is on the way. So, even though this third CC is very late for ByuN, he still has a pretty powerful army. And what's important is that ByuN, he respected Dark's forces. He respected the roach count of Dark, and he kept the Marines alive, which means the Marines can go for a follow-up push later on with +1, with medevacs, with tanks. Like, we can make use of these Marines later on down the line. Like, ByuN, he didn't try to force the issues. He has some very patient play. Very patient. Oh, as we do see the Reapers on the right-hand side are going to get caught out by these Lings. At least one of them will. One Reaper does go down. We do see, for the most part, ByuN just getting ready to eventually take his third base. The medevacs are now hitting the field, which means ByuN can now be active with his army. Can go for some drop play. Speaking of, there we go. Double drop heading over towards the right-hand side of the map. Marines and tanks are being left at home just to make sure the third gets saturated. Meanwhile, Dark is going to be going for a 1-1 roach timing. 1-1 is on the way, hidden behind the mineral line in the main base. And until those upgrades kick in, we can just kind of happily chill out back at home. You know, we've got a fourth base on the way. We're droning up as well. Looks like ByuN, oh, he doesn't have eyes on this. He did hear the unload, though. And yeah, there we go. He is going to be getting into position. We'll lose one Ravager, but we do hold on to the fourth. Oh, never mind. The jump comes back in, and we are going to be forced to cancel the fourth base. Yo, we can even get one of these Ravagers as well. Good pickups here from ByuN, containing Dark to only 3 bases. Behind this, we are just setting up with our Raxes, just 5 Raxes for the time being. We're taking the gases at the third base, so we're not going to be going for an 8 Rax. We're not going for a 3 base all in. ByuN is just, for the most part, turtling up back at home. Meanwhile, we already hit 1-1, and we're actually going to be going for 2-2. We're committing into Burrow and Tunneling Claw, so Dark, he's going to be staying on Roach Ravager for quite some time. This is actually set up to go into Lunker play as well. Let's get into Lurkers. Here we go. The double drop does dive on in. Is denied entry into both the main. Oh, God, no! No, Dark! Ah. Do you think ByuN saw that? Do you think Dark wanted ByuN to see that? It's like, my God. Look what happens if you mess with me. If you get into my main base, I'm gonna kill you just like I'm gonna kill my own queen. I don't give a damn. Oh, Dark, calm down. He's ruthless, Poppy. He's ruthless. As we're getting into Roach Rav Infestor. But again, because of these upgrades, this does kind of lean towards a Hydra Lurker transition. And speaking of, there's that Hydra Den on the way. We should be seeing a Lurker Den and eventually Mass Lurker. After we do trade out some of these roaches. Speaking of, Tunneling Claws is coming into play. We have burrowed roaches, but oh, we do have a tower set up in between the bases. The roaches will go down. ByuN was anticipating this for the most part. With this on burrow, I'm pretty sure this tank will die. Dark, he wants the tank puppy. He wants it. Ooh, never mind. Oh, no, yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, the tank will die. It's not bad trading 3 roaches for a tank. But for the most part, these burrowed roaches don't really get too much value. Meanwhile, there's that hive on the way. There's the lunker gen that we were speaking of. As Dark is unfortunately maxed out, and he will have to throw away some of these roaches to make room for hydras. Roaches doing whatever they can just to be as annoying as possible. Same time, double drop going towards the natural, but again, the queens are in position, allowing any kind of drop into that natural base. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting for Dark to... Well, I'm curious to see how Dark throws away these roaches. Of course, we have a couple of fungals on these medevacs, but because we have plenty of detection, like tunneling claw roaches are not really going to be able to do too much. Instead, he's going to have to try and go for some maybe more creative uses for these roaches in counterattacks, or maybe some drop play. As ByuN is just hunkering down, the tank line is real. We have the wall of turrets and the wall of CCs. Oh. Yeah, ByuN just taking advantage of neo-humanity. He's cutting the map in half. Everyone in the chat, you know, take this moment to stretch your roaches. Take this moment to massage your marines. All the marines that you can. And we're going to be here for a while. Because Dark doesn't really have an army that can... Can he break through? He's got a lot of Ravagers, he's got Lings, he does have a pretty flexible army, don't get me wrong. With the help of these Vipers, can he break a tank line? Maybe. I'm sure he's gonna try, like he has to. Like he has to go for a fight soon just so he can actually make use of his tech. And get a better army, because he doesn't have an amazing army right now. There we go, we're getting into Double Spire. This is to get into Broodlords. Oh, we're gonna get Broodlord Infestor. Oh god. As ByuN is throwing down more CCs, more planetaries, more orbitals, more turrets. Ah. That's near humanity. It is what it is. Oh boy, as Dark is taking his half of the map as well, to be fair. He's still staying on a very low drone count, which is concerning. Again, a lot of this is because of the invested supply we have in these roaches, and there we go, this is what I was waiting for. He wants to get rid of these. Like, these roaches are hurting him so much right now. But he also knows that if he throws away these roaches now, like all at once, then he will trigger a counterattack. There we go, Dark. He drones up a little bit further. He is sneaking in some of these lurkers. The lurkers will keep him safe. Painting speed still isn't quite done yet either. Ooh, as we're looking to try and push on in, but the ghost count is looking insane. ByuN getting in position. We have another massive fungal on the ghost. Up! Unfortunately, not much of a follow-up. Good moment for Dark, but he does back off, and the army will be able to top up and heal back up. But, like, it feels bad to be a roach, man. It's like... they know that they're not long for this world. They just... They have to die. Their time is up. There we go. They do take down one SCV. Second Roach hit squad will be pushing on forward, and looks like we are going to commit to the fight here, and eventually this will be cleaned up, and now they are being replaced by some more infestors. Some more soon-to-be lurkers, I imagine, as well. There we go. Broodlords are on the way. God, ByuN is being so brazen with this, and I don't really like that because there we go. We have a massive fungal. The Biles as well connected. So many ghosts go down. ByuN overextending so heavily. Jesus. He had no support of his tanks. He really, it was just like ghost bio medevac, and he loses 12 ghosts. 12 ghosts down the drain. That was a lot of his gas bank as well. Yeah, a bit of a miscalculation from ByuN. But as the Broodlords come out, more ghosts are revealed. We're going into Ghost Thor Liberator tank. Kind of the ideal late game army for Terran. Basically mech and ghosts is what you want at this stage of the game. The base soon to be taken. Dark, after losing all those roaches, is now going to be droning up quite heavily. I believe every single roach has gone down. Yep, no more roaches remaining. The Ravagers are also slowly being phased out as well. And we're actually getting into Broodlord Infestor. Unironically. The Infestors are here. Broodlords are here. There are a couple of Ravagers mixed in, I guess, but ooh. It's gonna be difficult to pull this off. There we go. Another massive fungal on the ghost. The chain fungal is real. The Biles. Ooh. Takes down so many of those ghosts once again. We had 12 ghosts die earlier. That's another 6 ghosts down the drain. ByuN, these fights, they've been lacking a little bit here for ByuN. Just overextending, pushing out without a lot of his supportive units. Not having the best fights. But here we go. We have the double scan. And you know what? We may have a lot of creep. We may have the army in position here on the right-hand side, but the left-hand side is so vulnerable. ByuN, he rotates around, and he's going to be able to pick off not just one hatchery, but maybe even a second. The Broodlord Infestor does rotate around at the same time. The Lingbane Ravager is going to be counterattacking the planetary fortress of ByuN. We're going to be trading a base for a base. But we're going to try to... Ghosts have arrived. The mineral line gets cleaned up, but ByuN will hold on to the base itself. Meanwhile, bottom left was taken out. Do we have a neural? We do. We do have the neurals, and this is going to be a bold move. So many of these infestors are exposed, and they're going to be going down. 3, 4, 5 infestors. Oh, this was an expensive trade for ByuN. Yeah, it wasn't worth it. Ay, ay, ay. I want to say more than half the infestor count for ByuN was just taken out. He was trying to be cheeky, and that means that there's no energy left for fungals. Well, it looks like we maybe have 2 fungals left, but that was a rough moment for Dark, and there we go. 16 infestors are on the way. Dark having a really rough fight. Goes. Dark is going to be headed towards the bottom left. Powerbomb. That's all the anti-air we have, Papi. That's all we have. Meanwhile, the Ghost Army is starting himself here on the right-hand side. Ghost Thor. Once again, I'm not really too fond of these neurals. No wonder there are these ghosts to support him. A couple of neurals are thrown down. These ones are going to be a little bit more successful. The Lings are coming in to clean up as well. Yo, show us the chain neurals. There we go. There we go. Zerg, in this stage of the game, the best unit is the Thor. Do it again, yeah. You just keep going for these neurals. You do have the ghost pushing up forward. They will get snipes off. But this time Dark taking a very efficient fight. Takes down a lot of those ghosts. ByuN, meanwhile, going to be going for a Thor drop. You love to see it. Going to be punching a base that isn't quite there yet. Here we go. ByuN once again looking to push on forward. He does have those infestors in his sights when he takes a fungal to the face. Meanwhile, the Thor drop getting a decent amount of damage across the map. He's going to be cleaned up. Or he's going to be forced back. Yo, we get the token Swarm Host. Let's go. Doing what it can. Another fungal is gonna push back ByuN. It's like the Thors were left to their own devices. It looks like we're gonna have the Broodlords push on forward as well. Oh my god, another massive fungal on those ghosts. Some blinding clouds as well. The Thors can't really do too much at all. And with these Neurals, they're going to be able to clean up the mech army. At the same time, ByuN committing to the counterattack on the left-hand side is running into Banelings. And ByuN is gaining ground, to be fair. He's also double expanding as we speak. So Dark has been more efficient with his fights. He has had like more efficient fights overall, but he's going to have to be careful. He does need to make sure he doesn't lose these fringe bases. Once again, the Neurals are real. Oof. Ah. And they should be able to take each other down. The ghosts have found themselves here, but once again, the fungals are just too good. Oh my god. These ghosts are so insanely low. ByuN has been trying to pull Dark apart, but it just hasn't been working out. More than anything, like, ByuN has been exposing himself. Like, Thor Ghost is good, but where are the Liberators? Like, usually we have ranged libs supporting this army, zoning away the infestors, forcing more corruptors out, whereas now I don't think we have any corruptors. Yeah, 0 corruptors available for Dark. Ghost Thor lib is kind of what we want to be working with. If we're not going to rely on Liberators, then we just have to be that much more on point with our Ghosts. We have to be so on point with our EMPs, denying these fungals from the infestors, denying the Neurals as well. There we go, as if on cue. ByuN, is he listening to the stream? I don't know. We do have Liberators on the way. There we go. Liberators are being made 2 at a time. But is this too late? Like, I feel like we needed these Liberators a long time ago. Oh my god. As this Ghost Army on the left-hand side is gaining ground once again, forcing a massive reaction out of Dark. The hatchery will fall. But this is going to be an expensive loss here for ByuN. If Dark does turn around, he's having a hard time figuring out, like, how does he want to split up his army? What does he want where? Ugh, there we go. The ghosts get caught out. They were trying to dive on top of these Broodlords. Oh my god, the EMPs. Oh my god. The EMPs are insane. We need another fungal. Looks like the ghost will be revealed. It's going to be a close fight, but we have no Neurals left. These infestors are useless. And the Broodlord count gets reset. Boy, both players are hurting in their own ways. There are... Oh, that's the wrong one. There are 0 Broodlords remaining, and Dark is going into Hydra Lurker instead. Interesting choice. I'm concerned. So, he's going into Hydra Lurker as we're getting to Liberators. So we're gonna have a little bit worse anti-air available because we don't have any corruptors. But it may not matter, as we do have a massive scan. Does confirm the entire army rotating over towards the left-hand side of the map. Yeah, the planetary is going to be going down. We do see ByuN trying to set up a counterattack instead. The Liberators will force the unborrow, but the planetary should go down. Up to the last couple of volleys. And there we go. At the same time, that push on the right-hand side won't find anything at all, as Dark can now look to punish these other fringe bases. We even yoink the ghosts in. We do land the fungals as well. Even assimilate, because we gotta do whatever we can at this point. But whatever it takes. God, this is so scrappy. Can he get the base? Up, up. It looks like the planetary will barely be saved. This is a little bit disastrous here for Dark. He didn't get the base. Did not get the CC. He's going to be trying to come in from behind. Vipers are coming forward, but they don't have enough energy. They go for Ducks. Meanwhile, ByuN is forcing his way into the main base. And it looks like this is going to be the killing move for ByuN. Gets into the main, gets on top of the tech. And Dark cannot stop him. Yeah, the hive, the lurker den. Dark had some good moments, don't get me wrong, but he was pulled apart at the end of the day. He was having a really hard time engaging. He's going to be going for a mass neural though, and he's going to be able to take control of the army of ByuN. Oof. Oh no! Oh. God, this is a really expensive fight for Dark. As ByuN is just double expanding, taking more of these bases. Looking at the units tab, we are down to 21 infestors, 2 lurkers, and 5 hydras. Basically a pure infestor army. We just lost a lot of our tech as well. Dark is running out of money. He's running out of gas. He needs to stop these bases. Like, ByuN is going to outmine him if these bases get up and running. And Dark should be aware of that. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do, where he wants to go. Dark is attempting to double expand. But unfortunately, like, even though both players don't have any gas, ByuN has a mineral bank and he's going to be able to get into Marines. Yeah, Marines are on the way. Top right is looking exposed. And it looks like Dark should be able to shut this base down. The base will fall at the same time. Bottom left once again is going to get punished. So both players will be losing their mining bases. Oh no, the infestors. Some of them will go down to these planetaries.
Assimilation successful.
Stark does a good job at taking control of the top right, but ByuN has bottom left, and that's what matters. As he's stimming into the main, just to take down whatever he can. The army of Dark turning back around. Oh, he's going for it. He wants it, Bobby. He wants it. He's going to try and get us around the fungals. Do connect with a portion of the army. Ooh. Decent fungals in the end. Dark taking the bases of ByuN. You gotta do what you gotta do, Papi. Don't blame him. We even have roaches. I guess we gotta make whatever we can with what tech we have. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel on the top left. Sorry, top right. ByuN taking these bases. Dark is waiting for the ghost though. He's waiting for him.
Assimilation success.
Ooh,
successful.
the EMP. Oh my god. The neural and EMP combo. We go for a mass scan. We're looking for where Dark is. He wants it again, Bob. He wants it again. But I still think ByuN has better mining overall. Like, his worker count's lower, but he's got mules. Like, he just mule hammers the bottom left-hand base. Ugh, this is getting out of hand. Dark knows he has to do something about it, but he just can't. Hydrogen is on fire. It will go down. Meanwhile, the snipe gets another infestor. Losses that Dark can't afford. Every snipe counts. Every piece of gas counts as well. And unfortunately, Dark, he doesn't know about bottom left. He doesn't know that these bases have been taken by ByuN. He should have a better idea now that he can see the angle of attack. Do we have the best army for this? Oh, the EMP! The counter EMP! Oh my god. With that, ByuN has to respect this army. He has to back off. Pulls back to the safety of these tanks. Oof. Another counterattack is being set up. The roaches, they dive in for. They're trying to focus on the ghost, and they will not get them. Ugh, pushing up this ramp. It's going to be a tough ask, and he's yeah, not going to quite make it. Here we go. As this is not going to end well for Dark. His roach is being caught out. He gets eyes on the bases of ByuN. ByuN is taking more of bottom left. See Dark trying to contest against this. Fungal's not quite connecting. These ones will though. Oh my god. Oh, the Fungal's connecting with the entire army, and ByuN, one slip up is all it takes. We have the neurals coming in, and the entire bottom left is going to be under control of the Zerg. At the same time, we do see ByuN trying to focus on top right, but no, he's racing back home. He knows how important these bases are. The ghosts are making their way across the map. Planetary goes down. The orbitals are under threat. We have a Hellbat counterattack, which can do well.
Assimilation successful.
We'll get a base. Oh, the neural. The neural ghost getting some snipes off. Dark will hold on to his bases. Could do with some droning, to be honest, or maybe just better saturation. Hard to say. As even though he has some of these bases, he doesn't have mining right now, and ByuN has a full base mining here. We can see ByuN is still rebuilding. Yeah, Dark is droning as we speak. More bases being floated over. I still think that ByuN is in a better position, to be honest. Like, ByuN, especially because he's taking control of these 3 bases, like, this is so much money for ByuN. And Dark, reality is that he is running out. Like, he doesn't really have a lot to work with anymore. He's got infestors, which is good, and these infestors have been carrying Dark through a lot of this game. But he doesn't have broodlords anymore. Like, he doesn't have lurkers either. Like, he lost all of his tech. His tech was reset, and he hasn't rebuilt it. Like, he has no lair, he has no hive. looking at the structures, he's got a roach warren and he has a spawning pool. So literally the only things that he can do right now is make roaches and lings. That's why that's all he's been making. And it's just such a subpar army at this stage of the game. It's a mobile army, don't get me wrong. It's going to be able to take down a planetary. I like this. I like the idea of ignoring these mining bases and just go for the kill. Like, maybe even get on top of the main base. He's taking control of the center of the map. Again, forcing ByuN out of position. Not a bad move here from Dark. But yeah, again, he's just stuck with making lings and roaches. Every infestor that dies won't be rebuilt. The tank is in range of of the hatchery. The army has been spotted. We have high ground vision. We're going to be going for some vials. We have a quick siege on siege from ByuN. He is going to be able to take down this hatchery. At the same time, a massive link counterattack is going to be able to catch some of these tanks. So good value. I want to say 3 tanks go down. Can we get 4? We do get 4 tanks. Not too bad. Roaches clean up these Hellbats. The spawning pool just died. Okay, we have another one, thank God. We do have a backup spawning pool. We can still make more lings. Here we go, another solid fungal on some of these ghosts. We do see Dark trying to force the issue. Oh, but he loses another infestor. Ah, we can't lose the infestors, Papi. We can't rebuild. He's trying to buy whatever he can. Gets a ghost. Is going to be knocking down through the center of these bases. I mean, there aren't that many tanks, as many that there were earlier. We do see ByuN, the majority of his army is actually over here towards the top right, so we're going to be trading some bases. Dark going to be losing his crucial mining bases. Likewise, so will ByuN. So both players will be hurting, but ByuN has a bank. Oh no! The Hellions, they chase down the drones. Every single worker for Dark is gonna go down. That's it. That is his economy gone. Meanwhile, Dark trying to do what he can to do the same to the economy of ByuN, but ByuN still has some mineral patches back here. ByuN still has an economy. Not the best economy, but better than Dark's. Meanwhile, the Hellbats are killing more of these hatcheries. The infestors were kept alive. They have been chilling here, gathering up that energy. Is there a world where ByuN, Dark, he can maybe take a fight? They lose another infestor. With all these tanks, I don't know. I'm not too convinced. He's gonna do what he can, but another infestor goes down. We are down to only 6 infestors remaining. Oof. He's doing it. No, we're down to 5 infestors. As Stark pushes on forward, he's gonna catch some of these tanks unsieged. Oh, we do land a massive fungal. That's it. Every single infestor is going to be going down. It's just pure Roach Ravager against the army of ByuN, and we still have so many more tanks behind this. It looks like potentially the ghosts will go down, but no, they will not. There is no detection. GG gets called, and ByuN will take game number 1. Oh, GG. Oh my god. Ugh. That was a 40-minute game. GG. GG, Buffy. GG. Oh. But obviously the killer here was the fact that Dark, he lost his main base, he lost all of his tech, and he never rebuilt it. He never rebuilt it. He was never able to rebuild the lair, rebuild the hive, rebuild the infestation pits, Hydroden, Spire, Greater Spire, Lunkerden. Like there was just yeah, just nothing for Dark to work with other than lings and roaches. And I don't blame him. So the reason for this, by the way, is that at the time it would take too long to invest into a lair. So Dark probably just, he didn't think that it was worth it. He probably didn't think that the game would go on for another like 20 minutes. So in hindsight, it would have been wise to prioritize that lair and to invest and to hopefully rebuild his tech. But Dark, he was thinking more short term, and he didn't believe that he would be able to live long enough to rebuild his, rebuild his lair, rebuild his hive, rebuild his spire, like all that. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. As we are, yeah, gonna be getting into game number 2, and that was a brutal game. Brutal. Ooh. Catching up in the chat. Infested Terrans, let's go. Let's go, Poppy. What a crazy Poppy, crazy. I'm just catching up. Dark in a dark place. A little bit. But yeah, so again, like if Dark did have the foresight to tech back into his lair and back into his hive, then I'm sure we would have had a different game, like a closer game. But alas, was not meant to be, and ByuN was just able to outtrade him, outposition him as well. Ling Roach Ravager just doesn't have that much longevity. It doesn't have that much efficiency at that stage of the game. I think, like, I talk about all this tech, it may just be an infestation pit. Like, the only thing, imagine if Dark could actually rebuild his infestors. We saw how close that game was. If he could only rebuild the infestors and that's it, then maybe we would have had something very different in game 1, but alas, ByuN does take it initially, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gressfarm, we have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. Oh, currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zero player representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Dark. Here we go. Oh boy. And what we saw on Neo Humanity is very Neo Humanity. It is more often than not we have like those split map scenarios and mined out bases as well. Gressfarm is similar in a sense. Gressfarm likewise, especially in ZvT. Oh my god, ByuN! He's not going for the 2 racks. Oh my god, he's going for a CC. ByuN going for the polar opposite here. He's going for a CC first. What a Chad. He is switching up his openers. You love to see it. For the first time in months, ByuN doesn't go for a 2 racks opener, and I love it. He's kind of like playing with his own He's playing kind of with his reputation a little bit. Dark, if you remember at the start of game 1, Dark was even calling him out in the chat. Dark was like, mate, why do you always go for this opener? Why do you always go for this build? He was calling ByuN out. And after a 40-minute game, ByuN just goes for some hyper greed instead. We do see Dark gonna be going for his own opener as well, but again, just a hatch gas pool here. I say hatch gas pool, I believe this was an earlier gas from Dark, and because of this, he's going to be able to get into link speed pretty early on. Oh. There we go, link speed is on the way. He does pull out immediately. And Dark does have a lot of links on the way. So we'll see if he can punish this opener of ByuN. It's still a 2-rax. Okay, it is going to be CC first into, I imagine a 2-1-1, but this could also be a 3-rack setup as well. Jesus, we're so greedy. Oh my god. ByuN, he goes for a CC first, into a 2-rax, into Reactor and Tech Lab first as well. ByuN has 0 units, bear that in mind. He has 0 units right now. He's getting into his initial Marines. No SCV Scout, no Reaper Scout, no nothing. And Dark, only now is he moving out with his Lings. And he could find some damage, to be fair. We don't really have much to work with. We've got 3, and now we've got 5 Marines. Now we're fine. ByuN should have enough to deal with this. Dark is going to threaten the mineral line, but he can only threaten. So we have a couple more links showing up, but with the positioning here, with the SimCity, with the terrain to use to his advantage, ByuN, he should be fine. Let us go. And behind this, Dark is going to have to just get into his droning. Just going to have to back off, respect this position, accept the fact that he invested so heavily into these Lings and, alas, won't really be able to make use of them. Oh. Dark even does lose his Overlord as well and doesn't get much scouting information. He gets eyes on the factory at least, so he knows it's not a 3-rax, which could have been a very big threat to him, but it is going to be a 2-1-1. Behind this, Dark going into a Roach Warren, as to be expected. It is how Dark typically plays this out. More often does Dark go Roach Ravager, less so Ling Bane and ZvT. And I'm also a little bit concerned here with Dark's tech as well. I mean, he's rushing into the lair as we speak. In a couple of seconds, ByuN is going to be moving out. This is spotted by Dark, who is fully aware, and he should have plenty of time to react with his roaches, so he should be fine. But the map control is in ByuN's hands. And interesting, behind this, ByuN is going to be delaying his 3rd CC. We'll see for how much longer. He's going into his 3rd racks. He may go into his 4th and 5th racks, which will signify a 2-base all-in as we delay our 3rd base even further. Double drop is moving on now. So we do have queens in position, so the double drop isn't going to be able to find too much damage. He does boost in, and he boosts out. Okay, there we go. There is a 3rd CC. Just a little bit delayed here from ByuN. Looks like he was a little bit more concerned with maybe even a Roach counterattack. He was just prioritizing his production and getting his tank count up and running. Oh. ByuN just playing this out safe. I don't blame him, especially against Dark, especially after game 1. I'm sure Dark would want the game to be over and done with sooner rather than later. And yeah, from here, things will be settling down. Just like game number 1 as well, Dark is going to be going for a 1-1 timing with his roaches. Ooh, a much faster infestation pit, though, here from Dark. Interesting. I'm very curious to see what this is going to be. I mean, I say very curious. I mean, it's going to be 4 Infestors to support his army. So he's going to be going Roach, Ravager, Infestor. So because we're going for the infestation pit, it looks like we aren't going to be hitting a timing with 1-1. It looks like this is going to be to go into 2-2 and into a longer game as well. Infestors are a great supportive unit just to add some splash damage, just to fungal the army, and to support those Roaches and Ravagers. Meanwhile, ByuN is going to be asserting himself. He does focus down a lot of these Roaches. Tanks are pulled back due to the Sling counterattack, but only for a moment. There's Pathogen Glands. But I do worry here. How many tanks do we have to work with? So because we delayed our third base, we already have 4 tanks for ByuN. Dark just going for a bit of a counterattack here, but does he have enough to stop this? He has 5 Ravagers. He can bow down one tank after another, but the Infestors are not done yet. The Marines, they still on forward. There are no Banelings either. Without Infestors, it's going to be so difficult to defend. The Roach counterattack is doing a lot of damage, to be fair. 7 SCVs are going to be going down, but the army of Dark is crumbling. Oof. The Queens go down. The Transfuses are not going to be good enough. The Ravagers go down as well. And this has already done more than enough damage. But ByuN, he wants more. He's rallying everything across the map. Dark just did not have enough. Yeah, the boys are being pulled, and this is just a sign of desperation for Dark as he tries to hold on. Every single worker is going to fall. GG gets called, and ByuN will take the 2-0 victory here and move on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. A very powerful push out of ByuN. Dark, unfortunately, wasn't quite ready for it. He was taking up into, eventually, Infestors, of course, but that was still a ways off. And he didn't have enough of a wing army to help out his Roach Ravager. I'm sure if he was aware of how powerful and potent this push would be, he would maybe even throw down a Baneling Nest just so we can gain access to gain access to some splash damage earlier on, or even try to slow the push down with Biles and his Roach Ravager army being more active in the middle of the map. There are definitely possibilities there, but a very powerful push there from ByuN nonetheless, and takes series 2-0, moves on to the grand finals where he has a Terran opponent waiting for him. The grand finals is upon us, and it's going to be a TVT. Let's go. We weren't able to see it ourselves, but as we do switch our scene over, Gumiho in the middle of game 1, by the way. it was a short series. It took even less time than we thought. Hold on, let me just refresh the bracket. But Gumiho did 2-0 max packs in like 20 minutes. Did 2-0 him quite quickly, and as a result, Gumiho moves on to the grand finals. Meanwhile, he's been waiting patiently for Dark versus ByuN, and ByuN will likewise move on as well to face Gumiho in a best of 5 TVT. Let's go. My favorite, Papi, my favorite.